This is Feature Miner. So, Will Duffy's so-called final experiment is not going to determine the shape of the Earth. What it is an experiment that will be interesting, but not conclusive. According to all of you who participated in my several polls I left on different platforms, you have vehemently rejected the idea that the final experiment will be conclusive. And so I'll tell you what would be a conclusive final experiment in a second. But before we get there, let's just cover a few things. So with this final experiment, first of all, there was this YouTuber named Creaky who made a video about one of my videos about the sun simulator, and there's been other videos by Will Duffy and others who have pretty much came out, and they think that just because we have explored ideas about what this final experiment could mean, if there is some type of evidence of a 24-hour sun in Antarctica, they think that we're admitting defeat and that we're making excuses already and stuff like that. But really, we're just brainstorming on the idea. We're not saying that there's going to be a 24-hour sun, but we are brainstorming just in case there is. We don't have to just abandon all of our work that we've done when it comes to the flat earth, because we've been down this road before with people saying, what about this? Or what about that? And what about this? Thinking that this would be conclusive, like the Southern flights where they're saying, well, how do you have this flight go from Australia to South America? Or what about the rotation of the stars in the southern area versus the north? You know, there's all these things where a globe earther will just say that this proves the globe earth, or a gotcha type thing. So we don't want to fall into that trap where Will Duffy is thinking that just because Will Duffy thinks this is going to determine the shape of the earth doesn't mean we have to fall in line, because we've explored other ideas and alternate explanations, and we've always been able to find explanations for all the things you guys thought was a proof, and we've demolished all of your explanations over the years. And so we've saw this with a lot of you out there. You think you have something and then you don't. And that's what has been happening, because we find a perfect explanation to explain things. And just because we find alternative explanations to explain things doesn't mean we're making excuses. It just means that there's options here. You know, we don't have to fall in line with the system, and we can continue to wake up from this matrix that they've put us in. In fact, people like Will Duffy have become Agent Smith from the Matrix, where he's trying to keep everyone in their program. He wants to keep everyone from waking up and from figuring out that we've been lied to and deceived. He doesn't want us to wake up to the realities of this world. I wonder if these people would be so opposed to the idea of a simulated reality. It seems like these globe earthers would be more open to that idea versus flat earth for some reason. And really, I don't see how you could be so open to the idea of a simulated reality but not open to the idea of being lied to by science about the shape of the earth, because really it's not that much of a difference, really. Look, this world has been something where science has grabbed a hold of it and made this heliocentric deception system to control your mind. That's why people like Will Duffy keep looking up in the sky. They are literally Agent Smith from the Matrix. They want to keep looking up in the sky to brainwash you and keep you spaced out. They want to keep you spaced out. Look at that planet over there. Look at the sun. Look at the star. You know, the sun is a star, just like the science textbooks have told us over and over again. You know, they want us to just go along with what the system has told us about this world. And they keep looking up in the sky because they are spaced out and programmed. They have been brainwashed by the system, and they're trying to determine the shape of the earth by looking up in the sky. And so really, when you think about it, that doesn't make sense. So we've covered several explanations about what could happen in this final experiment thing. We've covered how sundogs reflect and kind of show multiple suns at one time. It could look like, with sundogs, or with all these other options like the sun simulator, which this YouTube channel called Creaky had made a video about one of my videos and tried to debunk my hypothesis. But really, like I said, we're just exploring ideas, we're brainstorming, and we're not admitting defeat or anything. We're just looking at possibilities here, because we don't know what's going to happen, and neither do you. Nobody's really determined what's going on in Antarctica. There's been rumors of a 24-hour sun, and in December, I guess we're going to see what's really going on with that, because according to this travel agent in my last video, where this guy, he's been working on this type of stuff for over 30 years, setting travels for Antarctica and the Arctic, and he determined that when it comes to Antarctica, there is no 24-hour sun that he can book a trip for. He said all of his bookings for any type of 24-hour sun viewing has to be in the North Arctic Circle, not Antarctica. So with the sun simulator idea, we've covered that, and we've covered the possibilities of deception, and like I said, the reflection of the firmament and stuff like that. So yeah, we're just exploring ideas and trying to get ahead of it and figure out what could this mean. If there is a 24-hour sun, does it have to be conclusive or not? And like I said, there's always second explanations. We don't have to go with scientists' explanations about things. So to conclude this video, I will explain to you what a real final experiment would look like. And so, like I said, looking up in the sky is not going to determine the shape of the earth, but what would determine the shape of the earth is a ground-based experiment. So this ground-based experiment would actually take place in Antarctica as well. So it looks like all roads lead to Antarctica so far with these experiments. Now, like I said, Will Duffy's final experiment is, to me, it's interesting, but not conclusive. So I'm not just dismissing the entire experiment. I do find it very interesting to see what happens, and who knows, like I said, it could go dark and there could be no 24-hour sun. So we're going to have to see, right? Nobody knows. They don't know. We don't know. But we are expecting there to be darkness. Maybe we'll see the sun and it'll go away, and that will prove flat earth. So we're not saying that there's going to be a 24-hour sun just because we're entertaining the idea and exploring options of what that would mean. But like I said, let me get to what a real final experiment would look like. And that involves Antarctica, but it would involve a plane being chartered to fly under this ball earth, the so-called ball earth, right, and come out on the other side. That would be what would be more conclusive than this sun idea, this so-called final experiment. The experiment that I just suggested would actually be more conclusive, in my opinion, if you wanted to determine the shape of the earth. And so that would definitely be more land-based, like we said, is because when it comes to you brainwashed heliocentrists, you guys are just so programmed about outer space, and your mind has been taken over by outer space. You keep looking up in the sky and you're not focusing on the subject at hand. You're looking up in the sky instead of trying to determine the shape of the earth by doing ground experiments, things that involve this earth, because that is the subject at hand. So to determine the shape of the earth, Will Duffy, you would have to book a flight from Australia and show up at South America. Go under the ball and show up on the other side. By going under the ball would be more of a conclusive experiment, but then again, it might not be a final experiment even then, because at that point we'd have to trust that the plane didn't just, make some type of strange trip. Like a lot of these people that claim that they traveled Antarctica and popped up on the other side, they really just went to a peninsula in Antarctica and then came back. They just went there and back. They didn't go under the ball and showed up on the other side. So we would have to verify that as well, but it would be much more of a final experiment than what you're proposing. But even then, it would probably have its flaws as well with that trip. But I would say that that would be much more of a final experiment than the one Will Duffy is proposing, is to fly deep into Antarctica and try to pop up on the other side. Because according to my reports, this has never happened, and no one has ever done that. But yeah, anyways, I just wanted to share that with you today. And so let me know your thoughts in the comments section. I'm gonna leave some links for you if you want to get caught up on my other videos that have to do with the final experiment. I'll also leave links to my other channels, my social media, my Feed Your Mind store, my free email newsletters, and much more. If you'd like to support this channel, please donate as little as $1. And please become a member here on YouTube or Patreon to help keep this channel online. It's very important. Also, if you do that, I'm going to try to get much more documentary style videos out. So thank you for tuning in. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe. This has been Feed Your Mind signing off.